Yeah, you're on call all the time.
Yes.
Um, Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. And this is the podcast where we explore, examine, and elevate the medium of comics. My guest tonight, returning for I think the third time, but it could be the fourth, is Mr. Kyle Starks. Dr. Edgar Ramos of Psychocomicology has popped in to co-host tonight because I was eating dinner with him while Kyle and I scheduled all of this, and he's like, "Your emails are so much more fun than mine." And I'm like, "What do you
Mhm.
want?" So
I,
Kyle,
I,
how's it going?
it's going, man. We're busy, busy, busy. It's the way we
Busy?
like it. Yeah,
So so I was gonna ask you if this is your first Kickstarter, and then I look, it's your fifth Kickstarter, at least according
yeah,
to your profile.
hmm
Um, he did Old Head on Kickstarter. And even,
yeah.
yeah, way back. So
Everything, everything noteworthy was on. I mean, Kickstarter started my career with.
I didn't even realize that. And
Yeah,
for
the
that
first
matter,
thing I
as
did
I
was on Kickstarter, and then Sex Castle was on Kickstarter first. And Sex Castle was my first published book at Image and nominated for an
right,
Eisner, and we optioned it. And then I had already started Kill Them All, which we did a Kickstarter right after Sex Castle, and we gave that to Oni, and of course we optioned that, and Sam Hargraves attached to it. We just did a hardcover reprinting of that. Yeah,
so
man,
good.
Kickstarter is responsible for my career. I love it. It's always I always look forward to coming back to Kickstarter. Though this particular one for Where Monsters Live Volume 3 was pretty anxiety ridden because usually the only person I have to pay is me. So the concerns of its success, and also usually the book is done. Every time I've done a Kickstarter, it's been a finished book because that's what I would like. That's how
Yeah.
I like to do it. But in this instance, we were trying to make something that would have normally been done by a publisher. And so I have to pay an entire creative team. And the only way to do that is with a successful Kickstarter. So I was pretty anxious about it, but we're $1,000 away here on Tuesday night, 5 days in or 6 days in, which is pretty good. I think we're going to do it. So it's a great relief
Well,
today.
let's be super accurate because I don't even think you're a whole $1,000 away. I think you're down to
Yep, less than a
uh,
thousand.
yeah,
Yeah.
not
A little less
not
than 1,000.
$958. So Edgar, take care of that.
I'm actually on there now. I'm about to pledge now.
Hey,
Is there
we
an
love that.
original art level? Because if there
There
it
is. There's two.
is,
There's
he
three
might put you
actually.
over the edge, right?
Yeah, there's three different commission tiers. We had original pages. Peter kindly donated 10 pages, but those went immediately, and I wasn't expecting that either. So very exciting. It's been very exciting. I was very anxious about it, like I said, because other people were going to be reliant on me being successful, so to speak, and we're going to do it. So it's great because we scheduled it so um, there's a lot of discussion about when it would happen, and we scheduled it in a way so that Peter would finish the book that we have coming out with Dark Horse later this year in November called Devil on My Shoulder. He would finish the art on that, and then be able to the next month start on Where
On
Monsters Lie 3.
this.
Yeah, yeah. So like if the thing is in my head the whole time is if this doesn't work out, Peter doesn't have work scheduled. It's in my head.
Right.
Peter doesn't have work scheduled. Uh, and Vlad Popov, the colorist, and Josh Reed, the letter. They have to schedule these things. They have to schedule when they do colors and letters. It's tough, but it's going to work out.
Yeah.
A great relief. Now
No, I'm
we
I'm
want
I'm
more.
impressed. You're gonna make it,
Yeah.
possibly by the time we're done recording.
Well,
And I
well,
don't
well,
even
no, I
just
gotta add.
mean
I gotta
I don't
add.
even just mean Edgar
Well,
buying
no, no,
stuff.
I'm pledging now, but I'm curious about the you get drawn into the comic. I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
pretty
Sure.
looking guy here. How is that?
But
How
that
am
but
I going
that's
to be a
limited
monster?
to two only, and there's already two.
Yeah, there.
No, there's several of that one. Probably because it's a little pricey because it's a lot to ask someone to do likenesses. I don't enjoy it. I don't think anyone does. But yeah, you're literally drawn in. You'll be drawn in with the other monsters. You are, for all intents and purposes, a monster.
Well, my wife would already say that, so that's not.
We had two tiers, which sold immediately. Again, much to my surprise, because they were pretty expensive. Where
Yeah.
you'd be drawn into the comic, and you would get also that original page, which again is a bit of a logistics pain for Peter because now he has to draw two people as monsters on two different pages and then make sure they get the pages. But those sold immediately, which always surprised me. It always surprises me when things over $20 sell on Kickstarter.
Yeah, you got those are all gone. All of them.
Mm,
That's just great. That's a good sign. That's a very good
yeah,
sign.
yeah. Well, the first series of the book did really well, and it was very popular. It sold out at the distributor level. That's every issue. Like you couldn't, if they didn't order it, you couldn't get it. Um, it's Bram Stoker dominated, which is very cool, and we figured that success would go on to volume two, but for a myriad of reasons that will just get me mad to talk about. Like it didn't do well at all, which is some of
That makes me sad because I liked volume 2 a lot. I reread it today.
yeah. The
Um,
general consensus has been that people seem to like volume two better than volume one. Uh, it's like
yeah.
yeah, we
And
love
I'm
we love
like
we love when
super
that
looking,
fails.
I mean, where you left things at the end of volume 2 has me super looking forward to volume 3. You know, I'm really, really interested to see where you land all of this. So this is the time where I have to remember to ask, give us the front counter pitch for first couple of volumes for anybody who might not have read them, and then tell people why they should throw their money at you on Kickstarter.
Sure. Where Monsters Lie is it's about gosh, I should be good at this. It's about gated communities for slasher monsters. It's where your sort of favorite tropey slasher franchise monsters go between their killing sprees, their murderous sprees. Um, I got this idea. I think it's in the Kickstarter. I don't know what I put in there. I got this idea because I was thinking about the logistics of being like the Saw Man, uh, the guy from Saw. He's got a name. Like that dude is not digging his own syringe pit. He's not. There's no screwdrivers or blueprints in the back. He's got to find like a a contractor to build his finger smashing machine. And that seems like it would be right for a lot of legal problems. You probably wouldn't be able to be a sawman for very long. And then I was like, I wonder where Chucky and his girlfriend go. Like, she has to get food. Is he just watching TV? Like, where are they watching? What is he doing? And thinking about all these things, I was like, well, what if there was a support system? They all went sort of the same place and they all sort of cohabitated, which I think it's always very entertaining to think about ridiculous things being very domestic. Um, I love the idea like of the break room on the JLA satellite. It's one of my favorite. I just love thinking about what happens in the break room because they're just dudes in the break room. And so it's sort of the same thing, but it's with your favorite monster tropes. It's the unkillable shape, the killer clown, the murderous doll, the et cetera, et cetera. And what happens is basically they get these gated communities get found by this special agent who's a final girl turned monster hunter, and he is analogous. He's basically Batman if Batman's parents were killed by Jason Voorhees, right? He's spent his entire life just preparing for this, and then when he finds them, all hell breaks loose. That's volume one. Volume two is more of the same. Volume three, more of the same. If you find something that works, just keep doing it. So we're always adding new, sort of familiar tropes because horror is all about tropes, which is one of the things that I personally really like about horror is how easy it is to shorthand things and to have familiarity, and you hopefully have those things subverted or twisted. And yeah, that's where Monster Lie is. If you like horror and you like slasher movies and you like having fun, it's great. If you know someone who loves horror, I think it's very meta. I think there's a lot of Cabin in the Woods references for volume one. I don't know about that, but hey, thanks. We'll always take comparisons to the greats. But I just think it's a real fun sort of meta horror romp. It's 3 volumes, and each one it's like a franchise. Each one it's a little bit more and a little bit more, and we loved it so much. When one did so well, I was like, oh, I'd love to do 3 of these. And of course, it wasn't going to work in the direct market. It wasn't going to work in comic shops at the time. So we're doing this Kickstarter. But when we were doing 2, I was like, man, I almost want to do 4 because if it does really well, I want to send them into space eventually, which is the inevitable jump the shark of any great horror franchise. I suspect that's unlikely unless this Kickstarter does remarkably well, which I can't imagine. Usually they start to tail off once they're successful, but yeah, man, let's kill them all. It's just art. That's a different book. Where Monsters Lie. That's where Monsters Lie. It's a good horror trope romp, is what I think it is on and I love it. It's one of my favorite things I've done. It's one of the most fun things I've done.
I do want to pitch your first stretch goal, and you could possibly even make it more than one stretch goal because you were just talking about something that we don't completely see. We just see that there's a solution to the problem, which is like, what does Chucky do? Well, his girlfriend's going to. I think your stretch goals should be for every like $5,000 over the goal, you do a one-page like domestic comedy comic about one of the slashers or slasher couples where it's just them watching TV and accidentally cutting themselves or whatever. I know
We'll
you
put it
got
out
it in
there.
you, Kyle.
We'll put it out there. I think 20,000 we add an epilogue. So
Okay.
we've got a little
Okay.
extra in there, and it kind of would be nice to have an epilogue to set up
Oh, look
a
at that.
potential
You're at
future.
14,392 now.
What?
That was me.
Oh
That
yeah,
was him.
he's getting drawn in. He's getting. I was like, that's a lot.
Uh, I do
Doctor's going
have
to be
to
drawn
add,
in the book.
yeah,
All Dr. Edgar Ramos fans are going to have to back the Kickstarter now.
you know, where I'm starting to spread the word now. I do have to add, you said that it's for horror people. You know what? My wife is so not a horror person, and I had her read it, and she loved the book. She read the first, she
Yeah.
loved it, and she didn't have these like nightmare. It was just like, oh, it
Right.
was like a family. You know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I mean, she
Yeah.
Yeah,
loved it. So
Yeah.
I would even add that it's not just for your horror people. I mean, it's just if you like something that's good, well written, funny, but also has that, you know, classic horror trope, it's perfect for you. But yeah, she loved it
Well,
that way. So
we like
well,
that. That's very kind.
what?
I try to always make things for as much as possible for everyone.
yep.
But if you like the genre, it's something I try to make it so it's something you would really enjoy. Um, I Hate This Place was the same way. I feel like if you loved the breadth of horror, like that, there's so many genres, and that's sort of what makes it so fun. You'd really like I Hate This Place. If you really like sort of franchise horror movie monsters, then this is the one. I did a book called Those Not Afraid, which is my true crime book. But I think if you don't like those things, like I hope I have told a story that is entertaining despite that. That is something that you'd enjoy whether or not. That's what we hope for.
Absolutely. And it's accomplished, let me tell you.
I did it.
Yep. Definitely accomplished. Definitely accomplished.
Well, and that was just my wife is a true crime fan, but not a horror fan. Also loves this book.
Mhm.
And it's one of the handful that I didn't even like picture. She saw it on the couch and picked it up and went, "Oh, this is cool. When does the next issue come out?" And that was like issue one of Where Monsters Lie. So,
Yeah, we love that.
you have managed to. I mean, we both have wives that are into comics on some level. I think his more than, well, not more than mine, but mine tends towards YA and true crime. So like not genres that I think you would have described this as, but you managed to catch her anyway.
Mhm.
We love that.
Mhm.
Um, so since you have another book with Peter coming out first, you want to give us the front counter pitch really quickly for Devil on My Shoulder.
Yeah, Devil on My
Um,
Shoulder is it's with Peter who's drawing Where Monsters Lie, which is sort of a horror comedy. This is just a horror. It's a bloody revenge. It's a classic bloody revenge. It's about this girl who's kidnapped and tortured for 40 days and left for dead by these five boys. And then it's three issues of her killing the shit out of them. It's really good. I really like bloody revenges. Um, I think we're saying it's if you like The Crow or Kill Bill or I Saw the Devil, that you'll like it. If you like that sort of things, I think also if you're like I Wish I Spit on Your Grave didn't have any essay stuff in it, you'll like it. Or Last House on the Left. I wish it was. I wish it weren't so rapey. You said. I think I have just the book for you. Um, it's really violent. Peter's Polish, and I think like for Where Monsters Lie, like the first 3 pages or the first 4 pages of the first book are you're inside this gated community. No spoilers, you're inside this gay community and some kids get out of one of the houses and they are all sort of violently killed in the first 3 pages. And Peter is Polish and they have a different idea of what squeamish is and what isn't. So it's pretty. I was like, that's pretty graphic. I wasn't quite expecting it to be so graphic, but he's so good at it. Um, so
I
when I
did
had,
notice lots of eyeballs
yeah,
throughout the series.
he
Lots
loves
of eyeballs.
He loves popping out an eyeball. Dark. Uh, so yeah, so when I had the idea, he seemed a perfect fit for this. I really like those types of stories where it's something terrible happens and then there's awful repercussions. Um, so yeah, we're stoked about it. It comes out in November. I just did the lettering pass for issue 3, and I'm so pleased with how
Okay.
it's coming out.
Yeah,
Peter's
November
supposed to finish art.
26th.
Yeah,
That's
FOC
issue
is October 5th,
one.
and then it comes. I think that's right.
October,
October
I
5th
got
is
October
FOC.
20th. October
Okay, then it
20th
comes
is
out
what
November 5th.
PRH says.
Yeah, then it
No,
comes out November
it says
5th.
November 26th I mean, I'm
Maybe
looking
they
at the
maybe they
Penguin
pushed
Random
it.
House
Maybe they
page.
pushed it all back. Why would they tell me? Why would they tell me?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know
just
either.
looking.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they pushed it forward and they haven't
No,
updated
they
the
didn't.
page. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? FOC
I'm
is sometime
only
in
looking at the
October. It comes out
Penguin Random House
sometime in
phase, and
November. Um,
I
yeah,
will say that
I
I
really
like
like
that
it. Peter's
Penguin
great.
Random House puts the FOC on the page. I
Yeah.
used to have to like dig for it from Diamond. Um,
Yeah, or
so
from anyone.
it's nice that I can,
We rarely know
yeah.
unless we ask. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, both Lunar and Penguin Random House have it in their customer facing pages now. So you don't even have to be a retailer to know. And I think that makes it a little bit easier to plug to people. Hey, you got to go order this book.
Yeah, by this time, it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Important things to know.
So, yeah, uh, I think we actually talked to you just as you made your first turn from comedic horror, which this falls into the category of, but it sounds like The Devil on My Shoulder doesn't.
Yeah. No, Devil
Why
Show's
can't
not
I
funny.
remember the name of that book? Yeah,
Which
why
one?
can't I
Those Not
remember
Afraid. I
the
hate
name
this
of the book that
place.
was
Old head.
I Hate This Place. I
Yeah.
Hate This Place was the first because we talked to you just as you said, this one is not comedy. This one, I'm trying to shed the funny
Not
guy
shed.
horror.
Not shed. Shed isn't the right word. Diversify. I'm trying
Well,
to diversify.
diversify,
Yeah.
right?
And
Well,
amazingly, that book was
I meant the
nominated for best humor
typecasting.
publication. So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
typecasting for sure.
I'm like, did anybody read this?
Yeah. I think no, I mean I get it, and it's smart on Skybound to put it up for best humor publication. And what I found is because that was probably my most read book to that point. The first issue sold, the first arc sold really well, and it was a bunch of people who had never read my stuff before. So compared to everything else on the shelf, I guess it's hilarious. Like I guess it is. That's okay.
Okay.
I accept that. The funny at the time, I was like, this isn't funny at all to me. But I write characters to be charming in a very specific way.
Right.
Like Pine and Merrimack, I think it's a very dark story that I
I
did for
love Pine and
Boom.
Merrimack.
But
Yeah.
it's funny because all those characters are so likable. It's like I get that. That's just something that I do. In Devil on My Shoulder, that is not the case. Like there's no one likable in that way.
But you in defending it being up for humor, you're messing with my question though, which was
Oh yeah,
talking
I
about
know.
the difference between writing funny horror and writing horror.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically I've only done it once, which is the Devil on My Shoulder. I mean, the biggest difference is first of all, I think the best things have everything in them. I think like I'm so drawn to the type of characters that are in Where Monsters Lie, which are sort of the 80s franchises or the early 90s franchises. And all of those were never opposed to putting some humor into them. They would never take themselves that seriously. I like that. That's the kind of horror that I like, but also you want to do everything. And if you like horror and you want to create horror stories, like you want them to be scary or you want them to have some sort of atmosphere of doom it's tough to do that when it's a lot of bits, when it's a lot of jokes. So it's a lot of like I have this sort of instinct of like, well, and here would be a joke, and you have to go, no, do something scary instead. And it's just not my natural inclination. But for Devil on My Shoulder, because of the nature of what it is, which is someone getting revenge for being tortured for 40 days, not a lot of place for humor. in that. And you want to show what you can do. I thought Those Not Afraid was going to be, again, I thought Those Not Afraid was like, I hate this place. I'm like, it's not funny. No, it's kind of funny. It just is. Like, I can't help myself. But Devil on My Shoulder is not.
I
Like,
mean,
it is.
the idea of two serial killers competing with each other, I mean, the laughs are there, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. It's like to me, I'm like, that's not funny at all. But the pitch is kind of funny, right? The pitch is
Right.
kind of funny, especially coming from me. Um, yeah, I think just even those characters being awful characters, I just think they're sort of charmingly funny. And you want to spend time with them, even though that they're murderers. Um, but yeah, not down my shoulder, and we just want to spread our wings a little bit. I don't ever want to not do comedy. Um, I just think I like it. I'm good at it, and if my legacy is I made someone laugh for 15 minutes a year, that's pretty good. Like that's a pretty good legacy. We're
Absolutely.
trying for like
15 minutes
30. We're
a
trying for 30.
year.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
I
I
think you
think you
did
get
that.
me for 15 minutes a month.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some years, but you get what I'm saying. It's like so. I mean, I like that. I think comics should be fun, but I also think Devil on My Shoulder, which is not humorous at all, is super fun. I think it's a really fun book as long as you like violent murder and revenge, and then it's a ton of fun. So it's like we want to do these things, and some humor can detract, but I don't. I think there's just how much is in it because I don't think you can't not have it. I just have to do it. It makes me so happy have even if it's just one character, even if it's just one character is there for bits. Uh, it's just hard to get away from because I think books should be fun. But that doesn't mean they have to be funny. Sometimes they're very serious, and that's still fun. It just depends on how they're presented.
And Kat, who would you say is your favorite character that you developed? That one that you see like, wow, I could do something else with this character. Like, who's your favorite?
Man, that's tough. I have
It had to
I
have
have
been
so
Tad.
I have so
I'm
many.
saying it was Tad.
No, you know what? It could be though.
You're going to give
Komodo.
Tad his own series.
No one would read it. Komodo from Six Sidekicks is a good one.
I would.
Fucking Dave from Assassination is a good one. I would love to do more with the married couple from Pine and Merrimack. Favorite all time. I mean, that's tough. I like them all at the time that I'm doing them.
For different reasons.
Yeah, because they were like I think some people can pick a favorite kid, but
Hmm.
I can't. But I like them all for different reasons. But so when you go, which one's your favorite? I think, well, which one could I do more with? You know what I mean? Like, which one could I start doing right now and it not be forced or and not feel like I'm trying. Oh, I got to do more with so and so. Like, because I generally think everything that I do is the best story of that character, right? So it's like, and I rarely go past that. I Hate This Place was supposed to be an ongoing, so I had quite a few ideas for that that just won't ever exist. For Where Monsters Lie, which is why we're doing the Kickstarters, I had a third arc. I wanted, I liked it, and I thought those characters deserved an ending, and I thought if I can fund it this way, which looks like it's going to happen, which is very exciting. We get to do that, and I've been lucky enough in my career to always get to do what I want. And sometimes that means I have to draw it. Like, right. Sometimes if I want to do something, it just means I have to draw it. But that artist is free. I can always get them to draw something for me. So it's like if I have an idea I love, then I can always make it happen. And I say that from a place of privilege. So I try not to think past like this is the story. I think my friend Chris Schweitzer said, I think Socrates said the best story is one man's worst day. Some Greek philosopher said that, which I always think, and my stuff is always just about a day. Sometimes it's longer, but they're all very compact time wise because that's the only time I want to spend in it. And of course, at some point down the road, I'm going to do like 50-year epic right over 4 issues. That doesn't sound possible, but we'll figure it out. So I never think past, but like I Hate This Place. I had a bunch. Where Monsters Lie. Once we got a second one, I wanted a third one, which is a mistake unless we pulled off this miracle, which we did. So I try not to think past like Sex Castle. If you ask me what my favorite book is, like I say Sex Castle, and Sex Castle started my career. If it wasn't for Sex Castle, like none of the amazing, ridiculous things would have happened. I wouldn't have been making comics for 8 years of my life. I would have been working in a warehouse probably. So Sex Castle is my favorite because it started my career, and I still think it's really funny. Um, uh, but yeah, favorite character. I don't know. There's like a 10. You know what I mean? Like if someone, I don't want to throw. I don't want to throw. I don't want to throw Pat Haycraft underneath the bus, but uh, he's he wouldn't probably be on the list of all time favorite characters. Uh,
I
there's a
know,
there's a
but
couple
he's
there's a
the
couple in
only
there.
other Thaddeus I know who goes by Tad. So like
Yeah,
he's very near and dear to me.
You have a bias there.
yeah, he's got a
I
bias.
do.
I like all the six sidekicks. I could do six sidekicks. Six sidekicks. I could do more of. I was kind of half
Well,
hoping
say then you'd
that
wind up doing Tad. He was one of
um
the six sidekicks. I mean, he was
I think
boring. He was weird.
Komodo is one of my all time favorite characters. He
Yeah.
was so fun to write. Fucking Dave. We're super from Assassination. We're super fun to write. Um, and there's some of those characters like I could probably I would really like to have done like two more volumes of weird mysteries with the Pioneer Merrimack folks, but it is what it is. But we don't try to think too hard about that. That's also like in related people like I'm starting to do DC and Marvel stuff, and people are always like, oh, if you could write any character, I'm like, I don't think about it. I don't think about it because if I come up with a great name a character, you know what I mean, and they say no, it's like okay, that's it's gone. Like that's a wasted time and energy and excitement for a story and a character and a journey I was going to take them on. So I don't think about it a lot. I don't think about it a lot. I don't ever look backwards, except for in rare instances like where monsters lie. Obviously, I could do more.
Remind me not to drive behind you.
Especially if you're not
Right.
looking backwards.
Only creatively.
Okay, okay, that makes me feel better.
So I have to ask then. This is a little bit more personal, but nothing, nothing that personal, of course. But it's I always feel like you get to
He needs to
know.
diagnose you. That's all that's going
No,
on. Don't worry
never,
about
Okay.
it.
never, never.
Okay.
I charge for that. The
Oh,
thing
that's
I find
right.
the thing I find interesting is that you writers leave a piece of themselves, and I forget who said this on the pages, and I think Kirby
Yeah.
said that. And I'm a firm believer of that. I think that we get to know a little bit of you through your writing and the diverseness of your writing. So with that in context, and then the person was, so what would you be willing to share that? What's the unique thing, the idiosyncrasy, or the ritualistic thing that you do to prepare yourself when you're writing or you're doing like something personal about you that you'd like to share
Hmm.
with everyone?
In terms of like process of like,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's interesting.
Never been asked that, huh?
No, it's because I thought you were going a different direction, which was like, which of my psychoses do I clearly put in every book? Like
Oh no,
daddy
no,
issues, they're
I'm
in
writing
every
that on
single
the
one.
side. That's on the side.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's such an isolated job. Like I don't know what I do that's any different than anyone else. I for sure. And here's the other thing. I gotta say, like things in the moment. There's a couple books that were me seeing like not a show. Well, that's not true. Sometimes a movie and going, oh, I could do that different, or I could do that better. And sometimes it's just an elevator pitch. So this is like what is like. I think you're always open to having inspiration, and allowing myself to get excited about it. But it's such an isolated. I don't know what I do that's any different than anyone else in terms of, um, I come up with an idea and I think about it nonstop until I feel like I know the full story. I can't pitch anything unless I know what the story is. And pitches don't really require you to be like, here's the entire story and all the beats. But I can't. I if it's a good idea, it's a full idea to me. There's a lot of type A stuff like that is not great if you want to be me. And then we pitch it, and sometimes that pitch comes out. Sometimes you don't start for 2 years, and that idea is gone. Like that change. Like there's all sorts of things like that. Um, but certainly, I try not to pitch anything unless I'm. I think this is true. I don't think I've ever pitched something I wasn't excited about, unless it was like a big two. Would you like to, pitch on this guy or that guy? Which is only a couple of those were like, yeah, I'll try it. Um, I think maybe I like if I've pitched. How many books do I have? Tad, do you know offhand? Did you do how
Bunch.
let's say I have 13 books. There's probably more than that. I probably only pitched like 20 times. Like the percentage is not much higher than what I've made. I've been very lucky. Um, so I don't know if I do anything different per se. Um, Procrastinate probably a lot more than other people. We're trying to work on that. We're trying to be better.
do you have a character that inspired you, or the writer that inspired you to want to get you into reading and doing this?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good question too, because I have no good answer for it. So the thing with me is, I was raised on comics, uh, and music and TV shows and pro wrestling. And when I turned 14, I started working at the local comic shop. The local comic shop was also a video rental store, a used music, used books, baseball cards, and pornography store. And the thing that
Okay.
was great about working there is that every Tuesday I read every comic because we had to bag them for Wednesday, right? If I wanted to see a movie, I could just watch a movie. I could just take it home and watch it. If I saw a book that I wanted to read, I could just read it. So during those years, those 6 years, 14 to 21 or so, um, I got to ingest any media I wanted to ingest. And I did. Like I love pop culture. I love consuming things. And I consume so much, that I don't think I can go like this one thing, like this is my North Star, this is the guy. It's a mix of things. Like like comedy, it's everything. It's bad sitcoms, it's the Marx Brothers, it's Evan Dorkin. You know what I mean? Like it's everything. And it's just a mix. Like I've always been very critical, and I take the parts that I like, and it's very much a puzzle for me in that way. Is like if I see something I like, I'll take it. I just figure out how to make it mine. And Where Monsters Lie is sort of the if the spotlight example of me doing that. Is like I like these things. How do I make it familiar but not that thing? But if there's a thing that happens with a character that I like, I'll figure out how to do it. Not necessarily like, oh, he got stung in the face with a bee, but how do I get the reaction that I got through a character? You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. Is like something happens in this minor way. And um so I don't have like one thing. I could make lists, but you know, like especially with the like comedy and comics, like that's a short list, man. Giffen and Dorkin, you know what I mean? Like it's a short list of guys who I go, oh man, like those guys were so funny. And there's a ton of indie stuff that maybe had like two or three issues I thought was really funny. But even back in the '80s, comedy didn't sell very well. So yeah, I don't really have one like like Vonnegut. Like I think I can see a Vonnegut influence of the way my characters act and how things are sort of ridiculous, but they're not. Um, Everything's very straight, everything's very serious, but it's so there's just not one there's just not one thing, and that's the best way to be. We don't want to be like. I mean, I guess if I was a musician and you're like you can only pick one, I'd pick the Beatles, and I'd do okay. But I think everything else, like you want to be, the melting pot of your life.
Uh-huh.
And certainly that's what my art is. And certainly that's what my storytelling is.
Absolutely. I would agree. Thank you. It gets us to know you a little bit better too.
You
Yeah, he's
came
a
really
thief.
close. Not counting like one-off things, it looks like you've got 24.
Look at me go.
So you were right in the vicinity. But
That's
I
like
did
three a
notice
year.
something.
They're pretty good.
I did notice something, and for that matter, I it kind of stuck out to me when you were saying it in terms of the four. You do more four-issue series than I think anybody
No,
what
that's just how the industry is now. It's because I
well
do a lot of
the
books at Dark Horse.
okay. I just feel like I mean, maybe it's shifted again, but I felt for a long time like the miniseries length was five or six,
Yeah, and
and
then it
you
went down
seem
to
to have lots
four.
of four.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say
So that's just what they give you. It's
yeah.
it's not you like that. It's
No,
what they give you. Okay.
no. I what
Well,
I
then
what I
there's no
like and
question there.
well, like what I like and what I do are completely different things. And I think for and like trying to get page count. One of those maybe Where Monsters Live Volume One I think is 24 pages each because I didn't love doing 20. Some of them are I think the new ones are 20. This one I have to count like it went from 24 pages to 22 pages to 20 pages. And as someone who started doing by doing 180 page OGN stories, going down to 20 was very challenging. But someone complained about it the other day to me, and I'm like, well, no, it's fine. Like you just it's like if you only get 20 pages and you have to figure out how to make those 20 pages work. And if it's 80 pages, which I don't love the idea of 80 pages. I don't know about what's that's not a lot of story, but I think I figured out. You just adjust to what it is. We wish we were doing. I don't want to do the same book for 5 years, but we wish we were doing 12 issues, right? Like we wish we were doing a year's worth of
Right.
stories every time, but it is what it is. And I think I get a lot in those 4 issues. I think I figured out how to tell a really good story in 4 issues, or at least one that I think is really good, you know. But yeah, that's a lot of Dark
I
Horse.
agree.
Because
I
with
concur.
Skybound, it was 6 sidekicks is six,
It was 6 for 6 sidekicks.
but whatever the last one I did, I thought was five. Yeah, it was 2 arcs of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate this place was 2 arcs of 5,
Right.
so it was going down. It was going from 6 to 5, and the
Right.
issue is, if I may pull back the curtain, is that it's hard to sell 5 and 6. Like 5 and 6 generally don't. They're generally profit losers, depending on, of course, who the creator is and how good of a story.
Right.
Because at that point, people go, "I get it. I'll wait for the trade." They'll go, "I get it. I'll wait for the trade." Your numbers go down every issue. I said this on some of the podcasts, guys. I was on another podcast. Don't be mad. And there's a lot of like,
Yeah.
what? When I did Rock Candy Mountain, which was 9 years ago, 8 years ago,
Right.
it was 8 issues. I think on issue 8, I made $500 or I lost $500. Like that was what I got for for an Eisner nominated series. Like the last issue was nothing. I think it was $800 from profit.
Oh
Issue
my
8. It
Yeah.
God.
was it's like that's the
No,
nature
I
of the
mean,
beast.
we had Otis Frampton on recently, and like with his Patchwork Girl Oz, he did the first 5 issues physically, and he's still gonna release issue by issue digitally, but physically it's going trade by trade after the
Yeah,
first 5 because it wants to finish the novel, but
yeah.
it'll
That's
just
what
not make enough
John Allison
money,
did with Steeple at Dark Horse.
right?
And what happens there is you go, well, still is that the trades get so far away. There's not
Yeah.
that constant reminder. Is that the trades do worse and worse and worse unless you built your audience. It's a weird industry, man. Like someone's gonna figure it
It's
out.
a
Someone's gonna figure out a good way to
it's
do it, but it's not gonna be
it's an
me. It's not gonna be
incredibly
today.
weird industry. And I mean, you still uh, one of your more recent books was another graphic novel because you had Karate Prom mixed
Yeah.
in. I mean, do you still pitch both ways, or do you have a preference between doing it as a graphic novel or doing issue by issue? Um,
It depends on
do
the
you
part. I mean,
draw
for
your own graphic novels and write issues for other people?
um I can't imagine. I'd have to see what someone proposed as the financials to be paying a full art team to do a trade. In the
Right.
current market, that doesn't make any sense to me. Um, Karate Prom is a book that I had done. I did it for Free Comic Book Day, the year of the pandemic. I did like a 32-page story in 10 days, and I fell in love with those kids. So I just kept doing them. Like Where Monsters Lie, I was like, there's more with these guys to be told. And I was like, I'll figure out what to do with it later. And I ended up getting put with a literary agent, and I was like, I have this thing I'd love to do something with. It's sort of a teen book. And so it was done. So that was the thing. Like I didn't pitch it as me drawing it. I made a thing and then I sold it, which again is my preferred way to do that. That way I'm not being hindered by page count or by editors. And I get to tell the story with as much depth and pace as I feel like it needs. That being said, the next thing I'm drawing is an image series. We're going to do a 5 issue image series. So I think there's pros and cons in the book
Ooh,
market, which is what Karate Prom was. Is the first, second, it's all ages. There's
right.
no value in having a series. There's no value in that. Whereas in the direct market, the value is just as I said with Steeple and no doubt with your friends. Look, is like you go, well, who buys floppies? Like, oh, not that many people buy floppies, but what floppies do is that they're X number of months of advertising for the book, and what you're doing
Right.
is hoping to build visibility and goodwill through the readers. That when it comes out in trade, the people who buy floppies will then be like, my friend only buys trade. I'm going to tell him to buy this book because it's really good,
Right.
and he's been waiting. So
Right.
it's really like 6 months of advertising in many
Right.
ways. And so that's for image. I could have done. I could always do it as an OGN, which I like. Which is to say, I could always do an OGN. I could do a Kickstarter, make more money than I'd probably make in the direct market, and then put it in the direct market. and make a little bit more, but also have the visibility for option purposes and stuff like that, which is what I've done with 4 books to date. And I'm very pleased with, because I got to make the book whatever I wanted, and then we find a home for it, and it's in the direct market, and the more people get to see it, then that would pay attention to Kickstarter. But all that's getting very weird. All that's getting very weird. So I've only had one publisher ever say, this for Where Monsters Lie, like, you're going to draw it, right? And I'm like, I do not want to draw this. It won't be scary. There's like 2 scenes I can't draw. It's like there's 2 scenes in this book I can't, which is at one point, spoilers, there's a giant Cujo dog named Baphomet, and he comes jumping out of the shadows.
I love him.
We love Baphomet. Baphomet comes
Yes.
leaping out of the shadows, and it's like, I can't draw that. It won't look good. That's the one thing that's like, I won't look good. And whenever I'm doing this, as I tangent, doing the promotional stuff for the Kickstarter, I was trying to pull images from the other books so people could get an idea. And there's like 4 panels of that dog just biting people in half. And they're so unbelievably good. Like, I couldn't have drawn
They
that.
are.
Like, I couldn't have drawn that. But only once has someone been like, they assumed I was going to draw a pitch. And that same company is the only one who's ever said, we would like for you to pitch something you drew. It's only happened once. And I get it. My writing has more value. I can do more of it, to be frank, right? It you know, I say that it's probably pretty close to being the same amount of time of me writing something versus me drawing something personally. But drawing, I think for me, I want to be very single-minded about it. I want it to be my sole focus. So yeah, it was done. Like, if I do it, I want to find a home for it. And in this case, it was first second with Karate Prom.
At which, Edgar, have you read Karate Prom yet?
Nope. It's still on my list.
You wrote it down as I said the words, didn't you?
I think it's on Hoopla. I think you might be able to read it on Hoopla.
I think it is too.
I think everything of mine is on Hoopla, and we're down for that. Read it on Hoopla.
Yeah, it feels right.
Yeah,
It feels right.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Hoopla. I think if you make something good, people can read it. They're supporting a library, and if they like it, they'll still buy it. That's what we hope for. But
Right.
I think everything, all my modern stuff, I think is on Hoopla, and we love that.
Yeah.
I'm one of those old school. I still have to have the paper copy. Even if I read it online, I still have to have that paper copy in my hand.
Well, we
Yeah,
love this future sale.
yeah, no, I was at a bookstore with him yesterday, and
Oh,
man.
I have an addiction. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't do
No,
drugs, but I do books.
Edgar, I'm gonna have
Mm.
to invite, or I'm gonna have to introduce you to one of the other 22 panels contributors, Andy. Andy's the only other person I know who buys comics the way you do, where it's like, oh, this looks good, this looks good, my cart's full.
Look, if it's good, I'll read it. I'll read it, and I definitely gotta say, Where Monsters Lie really got me into your work. That's the one that really got me into, like, wow, who is this guy? What is he doing?
Yeah,
Like, it was. So I'm not a big horror guy. It's never been my thing. Like, I grew up on watching, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason. Like,
yeah, same, yeah,
so
same,
I mean, I'm an 80s kid too. So
yeah,
what your work was, and I'm speaking now as a fan here, it was so relative. Like, it was so, like, I know this, but I don't know
yeah,
this. Like,
yeah,
that was the beauty for me, is that I'm like, it's recognizable, but it's not, because it's like, I think you said it best. It's yours. So
yeah.
that was really cool. So it got me into, like, reading more horror comics, and I thought that was really good. It was funny, but it's also and maybe I analyze a little bit too much. It was also this kind of mocking of suburbia, of how suburbia is, like the dangers of suburbia, and that's
Sure.
I mean, I'm trying not to make this into a psych thing, but that's what I thought was cool.
No, that's what we bring you for,
I'm like, this
Edgar.
motherfucker's smart. I'm like, he's basically saying, look at the violence in these suburban communities, like, and making the fucking violence mundane. I'm like, this guy. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, I thought
We
that
love
was
that.
really, it was genius. Not to blow your ego up too big.
No, no, I know, I'm
Very
here for it.
genius.
For that first one, there's definitely I wanted to do a thing where it's like, what is evil? Because there's obviously these monsters, but the monsters seem very mundane, as you said. They seem just like normal folks. They're worried about their trash cans. So when people are complaining about, like, who's not mowing their lawn, and, like, it's very difficult to forget, like, maybe they did awful things, like terrible, awful things, and then this is not the police, but the justice figure the one who should be on the right, is violently murdering everybody, which is
Yeah.
also evil. So I was very interested in that of that sort of like what is evil, and of course it's the first one. Just FYI, it's really the first one. Like let's not forget, all because someone seems regular, like, and we see them all the time. If they did something bad, they did something bad.
Still did it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then that the messaging you had behind it was I can't disclose fully, but I wrote a chapter on the psychology of evil. And it's funny because as I was writing that, I was thinking of your work with it. I'm like, that question popped in my head. I was like, well, what is evil? I'm like, they seem like ordinary people worrying about mowing the lawn and the neighborhood, like, what they have to get accomplished. I'm like, but they're still freaking murderers. They're still killers. Like, like it
Thank
was
you.
genius. It was genius.
We love that. I don't think volume two has that's it, but I don't think volume two quite carries any messaging with it past didn't we have fun the first time? And I'd say three is very similar, but that's the nature of a franchise. Is the first one is very good. It's so good, it's like let's have another. And you hope the second one's good enough, you go, let's have another one. And that's I know when I was doing when I first started to do volume two, I had all these very sort of like big ideas, like how I was gonna really fancy up. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, we just want to see this guy kill more monsters. Sometimes you just have to let it be the thing that it's going to be too.
Absolutely. Rock Candy, I think you mentioned that
Rock
earlier.
Candy Mountain. Yeah, that was my second book.
It's funny because I have to
Eisner
say
nominated.
I didn't read them in order here. Where Monsters Like got me to read Rock Candy, and it was funny because I was like, all right, I looked at the art, I'm like, it's a little bit different, but let's see how this is. And then you had the devil killing all these hope, like that was the your intro, and I'm like, oh man, this guy is like I would love to have him as a patient. Like
Oh no.
what's in the mind of this man here? What is he thinking of? What like that?
It's okay. Dr. Ramos has a sliding scale.
I do absolutely. That intro was yeah, it hooked me just with that intro. I'm like, all right, that is creative, very creative. So it's that flow, and that's what I was trying to understand in your flow. Like, how do you get these ideas? Like, where like you said, you watch things from growing up and all that. You make it your own. But there's a part of me, it's like it really is just your own because I don't see some of these messages elsewhere. I'm like, this is kind of unique to me at least.
Yeah, I mean, for better or for worse, right? You
Mhm.
know, it's my voice is what it is. Like even from where we started, like there's not a lot of people who do comedy at all.
Mhm.
There's not very many people who do comedy well in that small group, and all those things play into it. And again, if I was smart, which is what was supposed to happen with I Hate This Place, is that my readership wasn't growing. It just wasn't growing, and I I don't care about the money, though I desperately need the money. But I'm making these stories not for the void. They're meant to be consumed. Like they're stories. They're meant to be heard and reacted to.
Absolutely.
So I wanted more. You just want more readers. You want more readers. The more readers you have, the more good things can happen. The more people will hear about your stories, which is all that matters. And I wasn't going to do comedy anymore because several editors were like, "Stop doing comedy. It just doesn't." Which there's a reason why it doesn't sell well, which is another conversation. But the thing is, like, I like it because I like it when things have a little bit of everything in them. I like it if it's not funny. I like it when there's. I think Commando is maybe the funniest movie of all time because when it's funny, which is five times if that in that movie, because of everything before and after, it's those moments are hilarious. They're super memorable, right? But I also like it when I watch and I'm not going to be able to think of something off the top of my head, but I like it when things are more than one genre. I like it when a comedy has a heartbreaking moment. Like I love that. I like having this roller coaster, and I try to recreate that feeling as much as I can. And I love having subtext. And again, spoilers. It's usually daddy issues. He's dead. Don't worry about it. But you sort like friendship dogs because I love dogs and like daddy issues. Sort of cycle through everything. What would one do for a loved one? Like my issues are clearly out there, but I think sort of they're always interweaved in a way that it's mine. And again, for better or worse, I think you always be able to tell, even with something like Devil on My Shoulder, which isn't funny at all. I think you can tell like that's clearly a Kyle Stark story, just in the way that I tell them. Which again, I don't think that's very kind. your intro should hook somebody. Like that's not like that's like writing 101 is like I need to get someone like, and I think Where Monsters Lie does that extremely well too. I think those first 4 pages you're like, okay, let's see what happens. And I
Yep.
think I have to look back. Pine and Merrimack's a slow burn. But I think for the most part,
It had a really good first issue. I mean, I loved Pine and Merrimack
on the Pine
in
Merrimack.
general, but I thought it was one of those that hooked you to make you give it time
Yeah, I hope so.
after that.
For a full
That's
issue, I'm
how I
thinking for a
felt
full
about
issue.
it.
Yeah, I usually like
Yeah,
to. I think those first like 4 or 5 pages are very important. Those first
right.
4 or 5 pages are very important. Um, it really needs to either fully explain what you're getting into, or it needs to hook you in some way. And that's not. If anyone's smart, they're telling you. The thing is like if you're a sitcom fan or really any TV, if you're a fan of TV, you're like the pilot's always like you can't judge the show on its pilot, right? Like you'll watch you have to watch the second episode because that pilot went through all these. It's the second episode is probably not going to be anything like the first episode many times, but in comics you don't have that benefit. Like the first issue has to be good. It has to be good because they're too expensive and they come out once a month. And if you're not invested in that first issue, then why get the second one? So we always try to come in hot as possible, as hot as possible.
Well, it was.
That
It was. It's got me
that
hooked.
makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
Um, you said that you had about an hour tonight, and we're at about the 50-minute mark. So unless Edgar has any other burning questions, I'm going to transition to my kind of closing question
Yeah,
because I
Edgar
like to
Edgar
spend
killed it
time with
today.
it.
Gave me a lot of stuff to think
Edgar
about.
always kills it. That's why I like it when he comes on.
Sorry.
He's
I'll
got
let you
this
finish.
he's got this like day job that makes it harder for him to
He's
come on all the time.
I
good,
need
good at
money
asking
too.
questions.
I got to pay bills too, you know?
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, yeah. This is why I
I
have
love
my
that.
sugar mama. Did you know that art teachers can be sugar mamas, Kyle?
In America,
Yeah.
God
Don't
bless
ask
them.
me how it worked out for me, but it did.
God bless. God bless.
So Kyle, and you get asked this question every time you come on, but I
Uh-oh.
get a different answer every time
I don't remember
because,
every time.
well,
So
because nobody ever remembers. That's why it's fun to ask every time. Tell me something you love, preferably a comic, but we don't really have rules.
something I
Preferably
love.
storytelling, but again with the rules. But something that you love that not enough people around you have experienced and you
Oh,
want them to, so you have more people to talk about it with.
I oh, I have this. I have this, and anyone under the age of 30 is going to be like, everyone you know is not talking about that. Um, no, no one I know, no, none of my similarly aged peers um, are watching this at all. I just finished watching. It's on Netflix, guys. I just finished watching Frieren, which is an anime,
Hmm.
and it was one of the best storytelling things I've seen maybe in 3 or 4 years. I loved it. I have to go read the manga. That's how good it was. It's so good. I have to go read manga now, and that's not
Okay,
like I have to be punished. I have to seek it out. Here's what Frieren's about.
right.
One, it's a fantasy story. Kyle hates fantasy stories. I don't like wizards. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like it. But this show is ostensibly about this, we'll say Dungeons and Dragons party that sort of saves the world. And it's now like 30 years later. Well, the elf, Frieren, hasn't aged at all. And her sort of how she sees time passing is presented as someone who's going to live a very long time, while the knight from that party is now 80, right? It's beautiful, it's smart, it's clever, it's got a great pace to it. I really enjoyed it. I think, and only because I know things, because I sort of pay a little attention. I know they had like sort of the Mango Awards this year, and Solo Leveling won a bunch, and I think Freer and those two kind of split all of them. And the general consensus was they're like, oh well, Freer should have won all of them. Man, it should have. I don't know what the basis is. It's the best. I don't. It's one of the best manga or anime that I've ever watched. I try to watch anything very popular, but this is a beautiful. I think there's 2 seasons. It's short. It's really beautiful. It's a really smart look at this genre from a very specific perspective that I haven't seen before. Frieren, I loved it. I thought it was. I loved it. One of the best things I've seen in forever.
Yeah,
You guys are
it's
gonna
currently
watch.
got an 8.9 rating on IMDb.
It's really good.
Yeah. And I will say that I have heard of it, but I haven't read it, but I teach high school. So like you
You're
said,
all of them know it. All of them know it. My
then
daughters,
they've been
they
pitching
know
it
it.
to me and they've
Yeah,
been pitching it to me and it's been on my list, but like I've found that this even among the students that I trust, there's like a 70% hit rate in
yeah.
terms of whether or not I'll actually like it.
I've I've
Um,
found with
but if I
anime,
find another adult that likes it too, now it
yeah,
becomes like 100% hit rate. If my kids like it and there's somebody else, somewhat of my generation that likes it, it's like, okay, we
Brandon's really
gotta
good.
we
I
gotta throw this
anything that is
high on the
wildly
list now.
popular, anything that's wildly popular, I try to watch. Not anime, anything. If this
Okay.
TV shows, and I've watched a lot of bad TV shows because they were popular in sort of the mainstream, which
Well, and
isn't
see,
very,
that's my problem. I've watched enough bad TV shows because
yeah.
they were
But
popular.
for this stuff, I mean, I can One Piece. Not, I'm glad it's very popular because I think One Piece is very fun. I read
I
12
love One
volumes of it a
Piece.
long time ago. Yeah, yeah.
Tyler
I
and
was at
I
a
have been
convention.
racing through it. We're
I
we're
was at a
we're like
convention in
500 some
Atlanta.
odd chapters in.
It's a lot. I was at a
Yeah.
convention in Atlanta and everyone was wearing the same cosplay. And I was like, what? I have no idea what you're dressed as, but clearly you all like it. What is it? And like, oh, it's this thing called My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia is amazing.
It
My Hero
is.
Academia might be the best superhero story told of the last 10 years. It's unbelievably
Hmm.
good. It's fun. And it's like, I'm glad I watched that. But listen, and if the youngsters, like Dan to Dan is very popular, Hunter x Hunter is very popular. I did not enjoy them. They're a little
Right.
too surrealist. They're a little too, I like parts of Hunter. That's not neither here nor there. Um, I didn't like the Demon Slayer cartoon, but I really like the manga because I read it. I got my kid the Shonen Knife, the Viz Shonen Knife, whatever. I can't remember when I got her, and so I'm reading
Right.
them. I got nothing else to do. We're on a plane to London.
Right.
So I'm reading. I really like the manga. I didn't care for the show. Anything that's wildly popular, I try to check it out. Lore Olympus, and usually
I like Lower
you
Olympus.
if it's something that's universally popular, it was always worth doing. And I learned
Right.
something from a storyteller. Again, I like to see how people do it. I like to see how everyone does it. And sometimes you go, oh, that's interesting. I would have done it like this. I would have done it like that. But man, Freerun, it's whenever it's its own thing, that's kind of the best. Um, Freerun's really good. It's really like I felt like that's something that I think in that social circle is very hyped, and I think it's very earned. It's very beautiful, and it's also kind of funny and charming, and it does what I like. It does stories the way I like stories are told in a way that I never would have done it, and that's the best. Freerun, Hard Wreck. I want to be like Schweitzer. You should watch, or like Matt Kent. You should. And I'm like they wouldn't, and then they'd be like they wouldn't. They didn't watch 2 episodes. You know what I mean? They didn't give it. They didn't give it enough chance. It's wrong. So I've been eating it. I talked to my 15-year-old daughter about Freerun, and she's like, "You're gonna watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure." I'm like, "Girl, I tried. That's for you. You get to keep that one. Not for
That's what
Kyle.
that was one that I tried on student recommendation, and I'm like,
They
I
like it.
get why you like this, and
I
I'm
don't.
not saying it's bad,
No, I don't think it's
but
bad at all. But you know what it is,
right.
and like Dan to Dan is the same. My youngest daughter said that if it's not silly, I don't want it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm of a different persuasion.
Right.
I don't like silly. I don't like non sequiturs. I like for there to be a narrative. When there's a narrative, it's the best. Guys, watch Freerun, Hard Wreck.
I
I have it down. I saw Edgar scribbling, so I'm
I got
certain
to
that
figure out
it's
how to. I got to figure out how to read because there's not really a hoopla for manga, which is unfortunate. I got to
right.
find where it's.
Well,
I think it's on Crunchyroll or I got to get
but
some subscription. Yeah,
I mean, for runs on Viz, um, Viz and Shonen Jump are separate, but they're like
yeah,
three
they're two different
dollars a
things. They're
piece.
cheap. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna check it out.
So
I think
yeah,
Haikyuu's
three
on
dollars
Viz
a
too.
month you can
So
get your Viz.
yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Um, yeah,
It's
trust me,
so
there's
good.
enough there.
And, the last time I was like, like there's one, and this worked out differently. Where there was one season of a thing, and I go, oh, I want to consume all this. Was Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones that season one was so
Yeah,
good. I was like, I gotta get these books, right? That's how I feel about
right.
Frieren. Those 2 seasons, I was like, I gotta know what happened next. I gotta know what comes next. What are these sweet characters doing? Anyway, that's it. Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the
I
great
I love
questions.
it. For
Thank you.
Kyle Starks, this has been 22 panels. We will see you after the next page.